Well folks, welcome back to the workshop. Tonight I don't really have very much to do. I'm actually killing time here in the workshop, so I thought I'd do a wee job, a wee bit of maintenance here. This thing has been running for about 3 months, so I thought I better get it in and actually give it a clean down. So that's all I'm doing tonight, just cleaning down the Yuka machine, and I thought I'd just give you a wee update on it as well while I'm at it. So that's all I'm at. This was sent in, gifted from Mammotion about 3 months ago. We done a wee video on it, installing it and actually running it and everything. It's been out at my in-laws house for the last 3 months since, working away, and I haven't exactly been getting over to it. So it's just been chugging away for 3 months. We changed the blades on it I think once, but apart from that it's never even been cleaned down. So it's time to give it a wee clean. It's actually been non-stop rain here for about 2 or 3 weeks now, and it keeps having to go out in the wet. Doesn't stop it, but it does cause the grass to get jammed up on it. So that's all I'm doing today. Wee bit of maintenance, cleaning down this here, and I'll give you a wee update. We'll just give it a wee check over as well to see how she's actually doing for 3 months of work. So this here, like I say, this is the Yuka Mini that Mammotion sent in 3 months ago. This isn't a collaboration video for Mammotion. I'm just doing this here just to kill a bit of time basically. So it's nothing to do with Mammotion, just a wee update video. We'll have to get them wheels to scrape down. Because the sweat though, that grass actually comes off fairly easy. It'd be a different story if it was dry. See, just like under. Now I needed to change the blades in this, or at least sharpen them up, because a few weeks ago it did get caught on a curb and was sitting just spinning away for a few minutes, and she's blunted the blades, but it's actually, well, it didn't destroy the heads, but it did round them over a little bit. Should still be able to get the screws out. So when I sharpen up these blades and replace them screws, yeah, it's not that bad, but dry up in here. These wheels as well was coming up a fault to say it was lifted. I think these are starting to stick a little bit, so might get a wee bit of WD on there. As you can see, these wheels, they're really getting bogged down now. A wee clean job is all she needs. We'll just give her a full run through, full going over, and we'll see what she's like after 3 months. Right, what am I doing anyway? First thing, I'll get this disc off. You don't have to pick this off to change the blades, but it does make it easier. They're not stuck, but they're exactly free. Doesn't really matter anyway. And what I will actually do is, before I clean it off, is to just stick a wee bit of paint on here to see which way she's turning. So she's cutting on this edge, so we'll know which way to turn the blades. Just in case I wash it off. I'm going to sharpen these up, but I'm only going to sharpen one side because it's just easier to do it that way. Or you can just replace the blades. I'm just going to sharpen them here today. Sharpen them up and get them back on, get it cut and smooth again. Now, like I say, I haven't actually washed this thing down before. I haven't dismantled it, so there's a bit of a learning curve too. Thought this might have had screws, but these must be the 4 screws for it. Oh, this is also going to be a lot of extra weight for the machine, so we want to get it cleaned down and lightened up, lighten the load for it. So right under here is your actual motor unit. Never actually had a close look at this yet. We'll wash it down here first, then we'll get a closer look. I'm not strapping the whole thing down, I'm just doing a rough job here, just to free it up Just give it a quick clean down. So these front wheels I mainly want to get cleaned. Because look, it's getting a bit stuck in there, look. And all around here. That's good start making the wheel very stiff if that gets stuck in too far. This machine, like I say, it's been running now for 3 months in my in-laws' house. Haven't really had to do much to it. And it's been chugging away brilliantly, to be quite honest. Has given very little trouble. The only thing they had to do to put them in was just put down 2 drop curbs so I could drive across the driveway. That's been it. And since day one, I had no problem with that. But since putting it on, say for the past 4 weeks or so, it started stopping on the driveway. And what I think it is the actual curb that it drives up on, because we flipped it over and was sort of different colour from the rest of the curbs. It had no problem. But since then, 2 months of weathering, it's basically just changed the same colour as the other curbs now, so it looks nearly the same. So I think the vision system is actually seeing that as the same curb as the other side, and it's actually stopping, thinking there's an obstacle now because it keeps coming up, path obstructed, when there's nothing there. So I think whenever I'm putting this in again, I might actually either spray paint or get a bit of grass on top of the curb or put some at the bottom to actually distinguish it from the other ones, and I think that might cure it. I did message Mammotion as well about it, and they are very good at getting back to you. Investigated it and wanted to see if I actually sent them on a log, work log from the machine, from the app, and they can see what's going on, and then they're also able to see the vision system whenever it bogs down and stops. They're able to send them a screenshot of that, and they can back and say the same thing. They suggested just putting a wee bit of AstroTurf on it, but they've also said not to worry too much about it, because in the next month or two there'll be another update on the app, and one of the features they're going to put on as a way to bypass any obstructions, especially on the path that's gone onto a garden or something. So if it's going through a path and it does stop, you can just say ignore obstructions, in case it does see something like a curb or a lump or a different colour or texture. It doesn't think it's an obstacle. You can just turn it off and just have it drive on regardless. So we don't have to worry too much about that. Supposedly that's already going to be sorted by Mammotion. But the curb this thing's actually driving up on isn't exactly mild. It's just a drop curb, so it's still a wee steep slope, and there's nothing else been done. It's not like we put down tarmac to actually level it out a wee bit. It is just a straight up slope. But it seems to understand or know or see that it is a substantial little slope, because whenever it actually goes up the ramp, up the garden, drives across the driveway nice and easily, and then it actually ramps up the speed to go up the slope, the drop curb, so it must know there's an incline. It sees it and actually increases the speed for it. But lately, last week, it's been stopping a few times, been told, at the bottom of the garden. I've checked the app and it did say something to do with the front wheels, so we'll just give them a good solid clean. And these here wheels as well, there's the axis got onto the motor. You want to keep that fairly clean as well, because I know from other brands of mowers this can be a weak spot, because once these start to wear on, the bearings are obviously going to get loose, and then once they get too much play, you can get a gap on the seals of the shafts going on. And once you have a gap going on, water sitting on it can start getting on past the bearings and onto the brushless motor unit, which is not what you want. So having this here packed out solid with grass is just going to be holding the moisture and allowing it to get on. So if you keep it free, you'll have less trouble. This isn't actually all that bad. Now this is out in this house every single day. There's 3 lawns, 1 big one and 2 smaller ones. It does the 2 small ones one day, and then it does the big one another day. And I have to say, the finish on the lawn, especially the big one, the lines it leaves on the garden, does look really good. It has a class wee machine. I was very impressed with this when I was testing it out. Because I'm up every day seeing it as well, I have to say it is a brilliant wee machine. For the price it is, the size it is, and the area that it can cover, it is very impressive. I didn't actually think it would do their garden, because it's rated up to 800 square meters, and that was, I think, 750. I was thinking it was going to be a push for it, but it handled it no problem. There's even a gravel path as well. It's going up and down to access the gardens. It's able to drive it up and down in that even. You'd think these wheels would get caught up, but nah, not a bother with it. I'm just getting off the rough stuff with the wire brush, and then I'm going to go over it again. I'm actually going to wet it, so it makes it easier to get the grass, these dry bits of grass off, because that really sticks on. We'll give it a wee wet, and then we'll give it a wee rub of the paintbrush. We'll get an air compressor on it too. I'm sure the manual gives better ways of cleaning. I'm just trying to get a wee quick job done here. It does come with a wee black paintbrush, wee short bristle one, or brushing it down, but wire brush is just a bit quicker. But for 3 months of work constantly, this thing isn't actually looking all that bad. It is underneath a hut, so it's well sheltered. You can get a little cabin for it, but there's a hut there to put it under, so we don't need to cover it. So it's been well sheltered from the rain, and the rain sensor is turned on. This little boy here, so if it's out in the rain, if it comes in from the, if it goes to go out in the rain, if this gets wet, it knows it's raining and just goes back in to charge up. And annoyingly enough, they don't come back out again. None of them. Whenever the rain sensor is activated, they just go back into the charging station, and they don't come out again till the next time it's due to cut, or you send it out manually, which is a little bit annoying. It'd be better if they had the rain sensor and had a timer for say 1 or 2 hours to try go and cut the grass again, and if it doesn't work to go back in, because if it goes out in the rain and you don't realise and you miss a day's cut and it's maybe doing 2 or 3 lawns, it gets very long, and the end of it's left too long. So it'd be better if that would just give it second or third attempt to cut the grass instead of just going on and waiting completely. But it doesn't go out if this is on, but you can also deactivate this on the app and just have it out on a rainy day anyway, because it doesn't do any harm if it actually gets wet. It's actually been sitting out here outside the workshop here all day. It's been raining away here, so it's doing it no harm at all. But the actual look of her for 3 months going around, she's not that bad at all. It's a wee bit dirty, but not too bad. The Luba machine actually gets a lot dirtier because it's white. Whenever she's running, the grass gets sort of thrown up, especially on one side. You'll see it doesn't really do it in this one. Just a wee bit of muck here from working through the flower beds. Apart from that, she's fairly clean. And obviously the grass sticking to it. We'll get her out here, give her a wee blow of the compressor, get some of this stuff out, and then we'll see if it needs to be wetted or not. Now you can give this thing, you can soak it with the hose, it's not a problem, but do not use, see this badge gets covered up, look. Do not use a pressure washer. Power washer is a no-go. A hose is fine, like I say, it can go out in the rain. Splash is going to do it no harm at all. This should be all sealed up, but a pressure washer, a different story. A pressurized jet of water will just get straight in behind any oil seals, even through a bearing. So never use a pressure washer on any of these robotic mowers. So you're going to spray it in and it's going to fill up the brushless motors on here, or the motor for the actual blades, or get it under the cover and actually get on the electronics, which was would be a total disaster. So hose is fine, pressure washer is a no. Now this one, the Yuka Mini, I've been working away, but it hasn't been used now in a while because this one's been running, and I can't show you that one because there's an upcoming video I'll be showing you that one on. But it's actually been cutting this back lawn of mine for the last month or 2, and it's doing a cracking wee job. Finishing this here, brilliant, nice and even, and it's actually helping the lawn thicken up even more. And that is definitely one of the big selling points of the robotic lawnmowers. They do help your lawn loads. They actually do make it a hell of a lot healthier and thicker, because it's only taking a snip off the grass at a time and it just falls directly into your lawn. So it helps feed this lawn as well and fertilize it. So it does wonders for your lawn to improve it, but they're also not just a one-stop shop. You're not buying one of these things and putting it onto your garden, just releasing it out there, and it's just going to take care of everything. You're still going to have to do some of the work. It's going to cut your lawn, and that's it. So if you're looking for a pristine lawn, you're still going to have to scarify, aerate it, a wee bit of fertilizer, and actually rake it and clean the lawn every once in a while. If you just want the lawn cut to your back garden, you're not that bothered what it looks like, these are going to be grand. Any more is just going to go around, cut the grass and keep it down. That's about it. But any of them, because they're just cutting the grass, literally a blade, slicing it. They're slicing the blade off and that's it. They're not pulverizing it, they're not mulching it or anything. Nothing gets sucked up into the machine. It's just cut and it falls down the lawn. So anything on your lawn is just doing the exact same thing. As I found out with a front lawn one time when a tractor went past on a windy day and a bunch of hay actually blew over onto it. All the hay just stays there. The mower just goes over and cuts it up maybe once or twice, but the rest just stays there. If you want it cleaned off, you're still going to have to get a normal lawnmower with a bag and actually use a grass collector to pick it up, or just get a leaf blower and actually blow it away. You're still going to have to do some sort of maintenance with your lawn. They're not just a one-stop shop. Release it into the wild and it's going to do everything for you. You're still going to have to do a wee bit of maintenance, including sharpening or changing the blades on them, which we'll have to do next. But this one, I'm just going to give it a wee wet here. It's tied it up fairly well just with the air compressor, but I just want to get it a wee bit better than this. So I'm actually just going to wet it down a wee bit and then let it sit. And then I'm going to give it a rub down again, just with a paintbrush or something, just to get some of the loose stuff off then. But it's just easier when it's wet. No kerosene today. Warm soapy water. Sure the wife won't mind me using her dishcloth. Luckily she doesn't watch YouTube that much, so she'll never know. Yeah, somebody tells her, of course. I'm sure she won't mind, it's for her parents anyway. I'll let this soak in and then I'll give it a good wee scrub. Get rid of all the bits. Let it dry off then. And I'm going to actually get a bit of oil on these here wheels as well, especially on the shafts going down on here. They seem to be getting a little bit stuff. A bit of WD might do a world of good. It's a better job. I wouldn't mind taking one of these apart, but this one's working, so I wouldn't want to just take it apart for no reason. But we did take apart a different brand one in a private video for the members. To have we look inside, it was the first one I actually worked on. And I was pointing out in that one, the sound of the wheel motors. The sound they made is just terrible. That's why I don't like these Mammotion ones. They're so quiet. When you turn the other one in the other video, you can actually hear the motor spinning. Very rough. These Mammotion ones, literally when these things are running, you hardly hear them at all. Even with the blades spinning. This here is the main reason for the clean, simply to change these blades. Like I said, it ran over a curb and got stuck, and the blades were just constantly spinning on top of the concrete curb until they started damaging all these screws here. So the heads are all rounded over and the blades are blunt. So I want to change the blades or sharpen them and replace the screws as well. Make sure they're okay, but easier for father-in-law to change the next time. So this is the main reason. So I just want to get it clean as well. But seeing as I did clean it, did remind me of something else though. One thing to watch out for any robotic lawnmowers, one thing they do not like, is as you imagine string or rope, it can get caught around the actual blade motor. But also, one thing I did notice is palm trees. The big long stringy leaves come off a palm tree. They don't like that. because they won't cut through the palm leaf, they'll just wrap around the actual motor. And that's what happens there, look. Because this garden does have a big palm tree in it. It's not on the lawn, it's up around the back of the hut, but they do fall on the lawn sometimes. As you can see, one's caught in there, look. Caught in and melted into the plastic. So this is a bit of a sacrificial part. It can actually get caught up, if it does. That's what these wee teeth are for, to try and get it broken free, to stop it getting onto the motor. But it can also just wrap around and burn into this plastic. So watch that. Rope, twine, palm leaves, don't be letting it run over them there. If you have them in the garden, try to keep that off, because we do not like them. But this, I'll just change these blades now. Don't think that'll work somehow. I think these really got too badly damaged. No, well, it's working some anyway. And I also actually cleaned off my arrows. That was smart of me. That's a wee bit too far gone. You can see why I have a lot of the pointy screwdrivers. My wee flats generally get used for the wrong jobs. These wee tang ones seem to last though. Still take the abuse. I'd only get away with the first one. And you turn it. Something a little more bitey maybe. Oh, that's much better. Perfect. Should have started with them. These aren't down all the way. You're screwed down to your shoulder, and they have a wee plastic washer on them as well, so there's a bit of a gap, so you can get a set of pliers onto them. They get stuck like this. Now sharpening, I've done a video on it before. I use one of them wee Hurl or cheap Hurl things, and it does a good enough job, but it's very slow. You can use whatever method you want for sharpening. Diamond stone probably going to be the handiest, or the likes of a belt sander. Anything will work. Now I just use these. Anything will work for sharpening. The difficult thing about it is holding these things. They're tiny little blades. You can sharpen them, because they're so small. It makes it very awkward. The handiest thing to do, I find, is just to sharpen the one side instead of the two sides, and just have it on spinning on the sharp side. That way you're just not slicing your finger on the sharpened side when you go to do the other one. I'm going to use pliers as well for this. And then sharpen it again, both sides. Just make sure you sharpen it until you can actually get a burr across the whole thing. I just find if you use a pair of pliers, you can let it sit on the stone as well. As long as you keep it square, and you can position it the same way every time. The burr there already. Flip it over, go again. There's the burr. That's just a rough stone. Need to move over to something finer then to finish it off. It's not a wood chisel. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. You just want it sharp enough. Sharper the better. Less work on the motor. and a better finish on the grass. Spot on. And if you want, if you're really panicky, you can get a strap and literally just give it a couple of wee rubs just to get a really sharp edge on it. That'll leave it closer to razor sharp. See what I mean? This is not perfect. It's not an actual razor, it's not a wood chisel. They're hard to hold, but you can get them good and sharp, fairly quick. Now, that quick? As soon as I'm at it, I'm just going to do the both sides, because this didn't take as long as I actually thought. Pliers are definitely the way to go for this job anyway. This makes it a lot easier. And because you're working on a point, the blade's here. Whenever you grab the sharp end with the pliers, you're not actually grabbing the edge of the blade because it's pointing into the middle. So you're keeping your freshly sharpened blade still good. They make this job a hell of a lot easier. This is the best way to sharpen these blades. You can do two sides easily. Now I'm using 2 stones because this one is fairly bad. This set was hitting concrete, like I say. So this one's a very coarse one, just to get the shape of the blade, to put the bevel on, the angle onto it, to get the burr. And this one's actually for sharpening then as a medium sort of diamond stone. I think it's an 800 grit. This will do the sharpening, but if there's any dents or wear in it, you have to spend a lot of time on this one. This just quickly touches it up. It's a very rough finish. As you can see, that gives it a very nice burr on it, very nice edge. So the burr is where you hear the actual metal rolled over the whole way over the edge. You get a burr on this side and smooth on this side. It's the burr that gives you the edge. That's how you know you've actually sharpened it all the way across the whole way, and it's not just rounded over at the tip, because you can sharpen one end and it can still be round and blunt. So you have to sharpen it till the burr comes the whole way around. Once it's round and you go to the other side, that's what's giving it the very point. And then your strap then just defines that burr and finishes it off into a razor sharp edge. Not essential, but it does give it a better finish. The sharper the blade, the better the cut. But I do have spare blades. I could just stick these on, but I want to keep these for when they're actually needed. Looking for a knife. Sharp blades sitting there. There's a whole pack of 24. I think this was for the lubrication machine. But they're all the same blades. But all I want is the screws. Because normally the screws are fine. Oh, too many. I just need the 5. These washers are actually thicker than this one. Like this way. So at least it doesn't matter which way I put this on now. Seeing as I did rub out the arrows. Just mind the fingies now when you're putting them on, because they're sharp blades now. They're blunt, we took them off, you didn't need to worry. But now they'll do some damage. So the thing about these robotic lawnmowers, the way these blades are, they're quite safe too when they're in the garden. If something did get onto them, maybe a tail or a hand or something, somebody stuck them underneath, because these are blades and they're spinning, they're loose. If somebody did put their hand in and it did catch them, it's going to cut them, but it's not going to cut fingers off. It's not strong enough for that. The blade comes around and hits your finger, it's just going to move out of the way. It'll cut you, but it's not going to do all that much damage. So for a garden with pets and kids, they actually are surprisingly safe. Like that edge here better. And that's it. New blades, or not new blades, old blades resharpened again and ready to cut. New screws, just get rid of them. And we still have a full packet of blades in case we ever need them. But they will eventually need to be replaced. But may as well wait till they definitely have to be. Now the mower itself, cleaned up nicely. Not that it was all that dirty, but you still want to see it clean. It's actually not that hard to do. Just don't be too hard on the actual blade adjustment button underneath. Now these screws for the shroud and for the blade disc are the exact same. Don't have to worry which one's which. But when putting on the blade disc, as I've learned from the past, use a screwdriver. Don't use the electric drill. Because when they go tight and spins and you've got fresh blades, it will cut you. And I know that now. So what is it? T20 screwdriver. Take these on and off. And as well, this is the one with the floating deck. The Luba and the Luba 2, or the Luba Mini and the Luba 2, they just have a solid deck. This one here, because it's just a single blade, it actually has a floating deck, like the bigger Yuka. So as she's running, this goes over bumps and that. This here can actually flex up and down. So if it goes over wee divots and everything, it actually adjusts the blade height, so it actually leaves your lawn even smoother, even flatter again. With between running this here, well, running them all actually, the Yuka and the Yuka Mini, compared to the Luba 2 and the Luba Mini, you can notice a difference. And these here Yuka machines, the lawn does look a lot flatter because of that. It's not much, but there is definitely a difference. But for cleaning them, there ain't much to it. Honestly, a good air compressor and an air line would do half the job anyway. But this just leaves it just right. Tighten that up too soon, lah. Just put them all loose first to get them all into the correct threads. Because you wouldn't want to cross thread these screws and strip them out, because then you get onto a part of the motor which would be a bit more expensive to replace. This disc wouldn't be all that dear. So just make sure you're getting right before you try to drive them on. That's her, and that's why this is better. When it binds up and you're holding with a screwdriver and it ticks off on you, you're left with a few nicks. That's it. That is the Yuka Mini. Blade sharpened up and the machine cleaned down. And honestly, for this thing running the last few months, the amount of times I've been called down to deal with any problems, there's been few and far between. It actually is, my review on this thing is very good. It's actually a cracking wee machine. That's just a wee safety key to make sure it doesn't switch on. But this here thing, I have to say, for a small lawn, small garden, general use, I could not fault this machine at all. It's been doing a great wee job. Plus, it's just a cracking looking wee machine. 800 square meters is what this is recommended to cut, and it can actually do that there, surprisingly enough, with all the size of it. It does need to go back and forth to charge quite a few times. You can adjust it different ways, but the actual runtime and performance in this thing, it's actually very good. I can show you on my phone actually, because you can go on to the machine and look at the log on it. Now, this is the app. You can actually go through all the different machines, so I'm technically testing that one there out at the minute. This is the Yuka. Better switch it on to actually see it. Now the RTK stations for the other machines. Then you have the Yuka Mini, which I have out the back, another station for another machine, and the bigger Yuka, the one of the grass sweeper kit. And then you can keep adding on more. So you can have these here in different places if you're, thanks, if you're groundskeeper or something, or you're doing different maintenance for different areas, you can have these running, different machines running on one app in different locations. You can just monitor them from your phone. But if you actually go into the machines themselves, you can go onto your task records, I think it is. No, it's not records, this is just all the cuts. You can see that's the last two that didn't finish. That's why I have this on today, to clean it down. Device, is it? Yeah. Go into your device and you can go into maintenance. Look. Total miles driven, 491 kilometers this thing's done. It's been running for 451 hours and 52 minutes. That's how long this machine's been actually up and operational for. But yeah, some amount of miles these things can put on. Nearly 500 kilometers already, and it's only a few months old. So they can do quite a bit of work. But yeah, the review for this thing, after so many months of it running, is very good. I have to say, very impressed with this machine. For the size of it, the capabilities of it, and the price of it, I don't think you can go much further wrong than this here.
The front wheel lifted.
Oh, it reminds me.
The robot tilted.
I'll just knock that off again. I just wanted to oil this wheel as well.
Power off. The front.
Quiet. Don't need to do much. Just wanted to put a wee bit of WD. Just on them there casters. It's not really needed, but just want to make sure they're free enough. More for if it lifts, because they're the switch for the lift sensor. If the machine actually lifts off the ground, it stops, you see, to stop the blades, and it tells you it's been lifted. That's what it said there whenever I lifted the machine. Front wheel lifted. But just in case it does lift and goes back down and it sticks or something, it might stay switched off. So just want to oil them to make sure they're free enough. But that's it, folks. The Mammotion Yuka Mini, all cleaned down, blade sharpened up, ready for work again. Now this isn't a collaboration video, like I say. This is just me working in the shed. Nothing to do with Mammotion. Just want to give this a wee tidy up for my father-in-law to make sure it's still running for him, and cutting his grass, leave it nice and clean. But that's her, ready to run again and continue on working till the end of the summer. But anyway, folks, that's it. Stay tuned. There'll be another repair video coming shortly. It's just this evening. I had nothing really to do, so I thought I'd better tackle this. But till next time, folks, I'll chat to you next time.